Hello everyone, welcome back to another walkthrough, and today we're back with Kentucky Route Zero, Act 4. Now, just some disclaimers ahead of time. You do have to do this act twice, and for this first walkthrough that I'm going to show you, you will need to do part of it on a Tuesday if you're going for all the achievements. I'll explain that why in a second, but right here from the start of the game, you can see we're on the front of a boat. Will and Kate are here, Will on the left, Kate on the right. We have to talk to both of them. We're going to start with Kate and then click to walk all the way to Will. I'm not sure why one of the achievements has to be done on a Tuesday. If you're on the Xbox, I know that you could like go offline before and switch the dates and change it. I'm doing this on PC if you can't tell by the mouse. So I've never tried to change the dates on a PC. I'm sure you can. I've just never bothered. I never had a reason to. I happen to be playing this Monday night, and this gameplay right here is Monday night. And then Tuesday, I like stopped right before the section that you need to do on Tuesday. Then on Tuesday morning, early in the morning, before I had to do anything else, I started it up and did that part of the mission. So yeah, you will need to do it on Tuesday, and you will need to do this twice. This first playthrough that I'm going to be doing right here, and sorry, Ezra's coming out of the door here. We're going to talk to them, and then we're going to run in. We're going to take over as them once we're talking here and go inside. And a lot of these parts are going to be sped up as well. This part isn't like a lot of the things that show intricate sort of details almost. There's a lot of boating around and things. I'm going to speed it up. But as I was saying, we're going to do all the long versions of stuff first. And here's Ezra clicking on the musicians, by the way. That's what you have to do here. We're going to do all the long versions, and I'm going to show you the shorter sort of versions of things you can do on our second playthrough. And now Ezra has to click this recording button. You'll notice a couple of recording buttons throughout the game. This one and only one other one are mandatory. There will be like 3, 4, or 5 others or so. Now we're taking over this guy and going back to the front of the boat to talk to Shannon. And when the recordings kind of play into the game later in the second playthrough, if you want to get them. If you're speedrunning, not really necessary, and I'll show you that as we go. But for this playthrough, you're gonna come up to like 7 or so. I think it might be 8 places on this boat cruise or boat journey. And for this playthrough, you're always going to choose whatever option resembles getting off the boat to go to that place, as they'll show you every single time. The second playthrough, you're always going to stay on the boat. So these parts are sped up. The boat does not move this quick, I assure you. All this boating time, you're just clicking on all these conversations, which I haven't done yet. But you're clicking on them to go through them until you hit to the next location, which right here is the gas station. As I mentioned, you want to pick the option where you go into the gas station on the first playthrough. Which, once we close this dialogue, we'll get our options. First one, stay on the tugboat. Second one's follow them onto the gas station area. And that's what we're going to click. And I won't talk through every part because it's not totally necessary as we wait for some things to happen. But I will try to speed up a little points. This is only a 45-minute video. And this took me several hours to do both these playthroughs. So it's been sped up quite a lot. So at the gas station, what we're doing is we're trying to get snacks. So we take control of this character first. We're going to talk to the attendant. And talk to them about snacks. He said something about snacks being back there, so I clicked on the eye to go look at them. You can see that they're talking to themselves. Then you're going to want to head back out. And go click on Talk to Johnny. And now we're going to take over as Johnny, and Johnny's going to go try and check out the snacks. And can you blame him? Who doesn't love a good snack? So we're gonna click on the attendant. And that's it. Then we can leave the gas station area, go talk to Junebug, and we're gonna go back on the boat. And here we are back on the boat. Bit of dialogue. Like I said, I'll speed this part up just so we can get through it. Actually, I don't believe I sped this up because the next section's actually really close. A couple of them are kind of close, like this one here. A couple of them, there's a long distance to travel. But we're going to click follow the others to the beachside bar to the rum colony. And this is our next location, the rum colony. So this location will have an achievement that we're going to get right away. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So as this character, we're going to run straight up to the bar, get nice and close, and we're just going to sit here. Eventually the phone's going to ring. Don't talk to Patch. Make sure not to click that button. Eventually the phone is going to ring and Patch is going to answer it. And that will get you the achievement Patch speaking for answering the phone in the rum colony. So we're just going to wait a moment. It's not too long. Just waiting a few seconds and there it goes. You'll get some dialogue options. So we're just going to click, I think you have the wrong number. And that's it. Hang up and there's your achievement. So now the next part is we need to engage with this musician over here, but they're currently playing a song. So we're just going to go to the stage and wait. You could look around for a few seconds while they're playing and then just head over to the stage when they're done. The first time I did this, I did go look around, and when they stopped playing, I rushed the stage and I was able to carry on. I ended up restarting, and this time Patch answered the phone again, which didn't happen to me the first time I was wandering around. So I wasn't sure why. I just quickly read through that, but that's not really necessary. I'm not sure why he answered the phone that time. And now we can talk to Serrano. It seems like a weird name. It's not like Cypress. That's Serrano. I'll just butcher that name for a little while they're talking. But essentially, you're going to take this and you're going to collect money for them. I just clicked the person right next to us to quickly collect money and returned it. We can continue. So now what you have to go do is talk to Patch. Or sorry, not Patch, Conway over here. And we're telling them that we're about to leave. Just a lot of dialogue that we got to skip through. Now we can head over to the boat and talk to them. But we're going to have to go back to Conway in a second. And while we're doing that, we're going to go talk to the people on the boat and then go back to Conway. What I'll say is you'll notice that there's a light symbol in the bottom middle of the screen. I guess what I've kind of realized over the course of this game is when there's an option like that, there's some sort of reason for it, like an Easter egg, something or other that's going to happen. So if you want for fun in this section, turn on your light, which I'm about to do here. And you'll notice something funny over by Conway. Just some previously invisible skeletons just chilling with him. And we're going to talk to him again. That gets us off this bar area. And I'll speed up as we move right along to the third area. And now we're at the telephone. Again, we're going to click the option stop to do business by the telephone to go onto the telephone barge. In this part, I'm going to speed up. I really don't get it. It's just like a lot of dialogue. From what I've come across, it seems like these are real recordings from players who called like a certain number during this game's initial release. They were asked a couple of questions or something, I think, and so it's a lot of this stuff. I honestly didn't read any of it. Might be interesting though. If you did find some interesting stuff, leave a comment and let me know. You know, I missed a lot of dialogue storylines. Let me know what I'm missing out on. But I'm just going to race through it. Just a lot of talking on the phone. We're just trying to blitz through it till we can get back on the boat. You can see the phone rang there, and we're talking to a character from the start of the game there with the antlers. Didn't catch his name quick enough. I can't recall his name. Cannington or something? See, I do pay attention to some things. Now we're moving right along to our fourth stop on the boat ride. The Radvansky Center or something. So we're going to click on stop at the Radvansky Center to make some quick cash. To make sure we're going onto the location on site. So this part's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm going to quickly walk you through it, but I'm going to speed it up a lot as there's just a lot going on. It takes a bit of time. So you'll see a bit of footage here first. Can't do anything just yet. And now we're in a room where we can move around. So I go to the left and I observe this bookshelf. And then I go to the right here and observe this. Well, I sat down first, but you don't need to do that. I don't believe. Just go over to the right and observe this painting. And I wasn't sure what to do at first. So I was trying to sit down, but you actually want to go to the bottom of the screen here to where this chair is. And you can see here you'll sit and do some, like, fill some sort of paper out. And this will move us on to the next section once you click that pencil and writing symbol there at the bottom. Now we're in this area here. So I click on this first eye symbol to talk. Then I clicked on the second one. And I don't know what the dialogue said and why. I think it's Ezra walked up to us and looked at us and just booked it, but kind of weird. But a little more dialogue and we're moving on to the next section. Same sort of pattern as before. We're going to click on a couple of things before we're able to use the piece of paper there, or fill it, do whatever they're supposed to get us doing. So we're in this room. We're able to walk around. There's not much options here except to sit down there really quick. I mean, really quick, I guess, is a relative term because we're ripping through this response here. It's sped up, so it's a lot quicker than what it's going to be for you when you're playing. And now we've got a cat. So now we have to interact with this cat. So if you go over to the desk here, you can press this. I believe that's getting us a camera. So we're going to walk back over to the cat. and interact with the cat. Or was it food? I was thinking it was camera, but I guess it's food. And that completes that. A little bit more dialogue here. Again, lots of dialogue. Plenty of dialogue in this game. And the last thing to do here is just click on this calendar. I click to the right. Not sure what would happen if you click to the left, but that's all I need to do. And this freaking cat again. Whose cat is this? Ezra doesn't care. Apparently he's not a cat guy. Or whoever that was. I think it was Ezra. Didn't even pet the cat. Like, who is this guy? You can see what I mean, that this part's just a lot of dialogue. And here comes the kitty cat chasing. So is it Jen? I just keep calling him Ezra the whole time. No, is that Jen in Miami? I don't know. But finally, that we're back on the boat. And we're moving on. Next section is the Grove, which kind of gives us something we haven't done yet, which is sort of different. You'll see what I mean in a second. This area was a bit closer, so I didn't speed it up. And here it is. And click the option to go on there, like on the Grove, which is forage for mushrooms in this case. Not taking a nap on the boat. And so on this Grove, we hadn't seen this before, but we're doing two chats at the same time. Not really sure why, but if you click on one, you'll sort of notice I've sped this up quite a lot because there's a lot to it. If you click on one, you can start letting the conversation go while you spam click on the other one. Do that for a while and you can alternate. Try to keep both going for a bit because they both need to run their course before they end, and you can press on. Looked very quick. It was not. It was a couple of minutes or so. But just run through it. And we're moving on to the exchange. So for this, I should say, when you're given the option on the boat, which one to choose, if you try to do the option, it doesn't matter what you click, but if you try to stay on the boat, you're going to have to go through this cooking thing, which will show in the second playthrough. So I clicked the one that got us going on the boat. And what we're doing is we're floating down the river here, and you'll see that we aim our light at that, whatever this is. Like, I really have no idea. There was a symbol to examine it that came up. So I just examine everything as we go down the river, and this is sped up a lot as well. because it's just kind of lengthy. But you'll see some of these things coming up, like that has a symbol. We can click on it as we're floating by. And if you follow my playthrough for both, this and the second playthrough, this is the only thing that's going to repeat, like this section. There'll be another part to this section, but everything else beforehand will be different. This will be the first thing that's the same. When I discovered Conway's like afraid of bats or something, so I tried turning off the light, and it'll trigger like another dialogue with them, which you can see it right there. But I think you need the light to progress. You can't just leave it on. Don't need to turn it off. And keep progressing. And finally, we know we're coming to the end when we hit this tunnel section. So this is down to normal speed. You can see how slow we move. And we're going to do a couple things in this tunnel. We're going to make a quick decision, which I'll explain in a second. And we're going to move on. So click this chat bubble here on the left. Sorry, not Conway's there though, but I moved up. Oh, sorry, we do need to talk to Conway. This is going to be the very last time we're talking to Conway, which sounds sad if you're attached to the characters. And I'll explain in a second because there's going to be a choice. But we're going to talk to Conway and kind of say goodbye there, I think. I didn't really read the dialogue. Then we're going to talk to this guy right here. There's someone across the water, Flora there. Don't need to talk to them. I'm not sure what that would have done, but we're just going to move on. Ignore the plaque too. Don't need to look at that. Unless like you're interested in the story, by all means. But to progress, we just need to talk to Poppy over here. So while we're talking here, there's going to be a choice that's coming up that I'm going to explain. So as Conway's driving away forever, you'll see an arrow symbol and a skull symbol next to the dog here on the right. The arrow means the dog will stay with you and it'll be in Act 5. The skull means it'll go with Conway and won't be in Act 5. I'm going to pick the skull for two reasons. The first is, if I'm not mistaken, it was Conway and the dog that started this game. They're like the OGs, so I kept them together. Secondly, kind of selfish, the dog was slow in some chapters and I didn't feel like dealing with it. But there's Conway apparently officially turning into a skeleton. I send the dog on his way with the skeletons. Though he doesn't go on the boat, I'm really hoping they're pulling over here to get the dog that I sent off with them. But they kind of look like they're just taking off without him, so... You know... Probably about one of the few things that, you know, gets an emotional response from me. Like, what the heck? You're leaving this dog I gave you? But, like I said, kind of selfish. The dog can be a bit slow, and I didn't feel like dealing with that in Act 5. So, in the sake of finishing the game quicker, getting the achievements quicker, I sent the dog on his way. Then we're back to the boat. And this next part here, you have to go here no matter what, whether you're on the first playthrough, second playthrough, this part's kind of forced, as I'll put it. But here we are at the next part. There's going to be multiple achievements here that I'm going to show you how to get. And this is at Sam and Ida's. So climb up this building here to the top of the restaurant, I guess it is. And I should say this is the part that you're going to need to play on a Tuesday for. Like, you're going to need to be playing on a Tuesday to do this achievement. I mean, if you don't believe me, that's totally fine. Try it not on a Tuesday. See if I'm wrong. I really don't know why you need to be on a Tuesday, so I'd be curious if someone tried it. I was able to try it on a Tuesday very easily, so I just did. But you're going to walk over here to the side. Johnny's going to be here, and he's going to ask you for a quarter. Say, sure, I have 1 quarter. And give him the quarter to try the game out. You're going to click, I'll try to get the headphones. And then we're going to click, once we have the option, move the joystick right, move the joystick up, move the joystick right, and then push the button to drop the claw. And apparently, because it's a Tuesday, the claw will hold on to the headphones, giving them to us, getting us the achievement. Well, I guess makes it self-explanatory that it needs to be Tuesday. Happy Tuesday! Win the claw game at Sam and Ida's. But hold on, because we've got another achievement coming right up. Once we're back in control of our last character. Apparently I'm terrible with names. I want to say Shannon, but I'm... Is this Ezra? No, Ezra is the kid. It is Shannon. Okay, so we're back in control of Shannon. Now the waitress is going to move up here and give us menus. And this is where we're going to get our next achievement. In just a second here. So they're not giving us the option yet, even though Kate retrieved the menu. So Shannon gets it. We're going to click Shannon, turn the page to look at another 3 options. Turn the page again, look at another 3 options. Turn the page again. And now that we've looked at 12 options, this will get us the achievement here. You pick for learning about 12 dishes in Sam and Ida's restaurant. The achievement doesn't say restaurant, but it kind of seems like an unfinished thought. Once you've looked at those 12 choices and gotten the achievement, just make your pick. And we're sort of moving on. We're almost at the end of the act. So hang on a bit longer. Now this part's kind of a pain in the butt. I don't get what's going on. Is it because we picked a food menu or food item that this person's slowly coming in with a fish? So I sped this up because I have no idea why we're waiting 3 minutes for this guy to walk up a staircase. I think there's a lot of great content in this story, a lot to learn, but some parts like this, why are we waiting for a guy to walk up a flight of stairs for 3 minutes? Come on. What the heck? Some parts, there's just no reason. It's not necessary. And then we've got to walk all the way back down, so I'll just keep that sped up because it's a pain in the butt. But you're going to click on the boat symbol here. And we're moving on to our final area of Act 4. So at the bottom, we've clicked on the boat. You're going to get the option to listen to these people play or move on. Just move right along to continue the story by returning to the tugboat. So here's our last area. You're supposed to get options. I'm not sure if it's because in this first playthrough, you're always picking to go ashore. So we're forced to go ashore. And what we're doing is we're watching this performance from, I say ashore, but I'm pretty sure we're on a dock, if I'm not mistaken. And there'll be some dialogue. Just click whatever. I'm going to speed this up because it's quite a long time. See, here, there's just some dialogue. Just speed through it. Pick whatever. Nothing will affect any of the gameplay, like getting through the game. There's no achievements to be had. But as soon as this song ends, I'll just go ahead and say this is the last section of Act 4, which will, of course, give us the achievement Act 4 for completing Act 4. I always get tired of saying Act whatever it is 5 times in a row. But yeah, that's it. And then we're moving on. And then this is just a tiny cutscene to wrap up the act. And that's it. So, let's talk about this next achievement for redoing Act 4. So what you're going to do is, I think you can go ahead and finish the game if you want, because your choices can't affect things. I didn't really care. I went and clicked on Act 4 and click Restart. You can see my Act 5 is not crossed off. I just went back and did it. Now I'm not going to show everything. I'm just going to show the choices that are different. So here's your first choice, gas station, as you'll recall. Click to stay on the tugboat and look around. All these options, we're always going to click to stay on the tugboat. It's a lot quicker, I think, a lot less to do. Some of them we're not even doing anything, but I'm going to quickly show those to show you what's going on and how to do them. You may recall I mentioned at the start of the story that there's some recordings you can get, and that's because it's going to affect the song at the end. So click that lookout button there that you saw me click. But we will come across these recording options. I skipped through them. I'm only going to show you the next required one to beat this act. But you'll see in the end why it'll affect the final performance. Perhaps a spoiler. I'm not going to try and say too much. Try not to say too much. If I do, let me know. I really try not to. Just trying to keep it basic. So you can see the recording there. And I'm going to skip it, because it's not one of the necessary ones. We're just heading to the lower deck there. And on the far right here, we're talking to Will. And us and Will are going to be in a lot of this boat parts, like these boat missions. I'm not even sure we've seen Will, or I haven't paid attention enough to see Will to this point. I have no idea who that is. So like I said, going to just show our choices. Now we're at the bar, and this time we're going to choose to retreat to the TV room, to the video collection. This part's pretty short and easy, short and sweet. Stand up, and then we're going to eject this VCR, and we're going to grab a new one off the shelf. And just pick whatever one. Don't think it matters. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm sure it doesn't. And we're going to insert it into the TV. And then we're going to sit down and watch. And apparently we're very quickly not into this birds movie. I guess we do listen for a bit technically because of this dialogue, but not bad. We're going to move on. This second choice, as far as I know, I believe it does matter. You can pick whatever you want if you want to, but if you follow my choice, it won't give you any problems. One choice is just question marks, which is super ominous. And we're going to put that in the TV and watch it. Now we can stand up, and we're going to go find Kate and Will on the main deck, which you can see the option to walk to the main deck is right there. And there we are. We're going to talk to them, and this will end this section. Now we're moving on to the telephone part, and we're going to click to lounge below deck. You might remember this part was kind of long the first time. So this part's kind of nice because it's a really short cutscene with nothing to do. Super short and sweet, and that's it. So then we're moving on to clicking the button to teach us the card game in the next section. And that was just a quick thing where you just choose any options freely. So again, there's no point really showing you that. So I'm going to move on to the Grove, where we're going to pick the option to take a nap. So there's a couple of these recordings that I've been mentioning. If you want to grab them, I think they might be beneficial to the story itself. Towards the end, not towards progressing, you absolutely don't need them. But if you just want to make it more interesting, feel free to grab those. So we're just going to skip along, and what we need to do is, I think one recording's up here, if I recall. Yeah, so we're going to skip that. I think there's one somewhere in the boat as well. But we're going to head to the very bottom, to the lower decks. So if we click Will here, this is the only other recording we have to get. You'll see the recording option here. He's sleeping, and we're going to record it, apparently. Or we're playing a recording, at least. But I think we also are recording him sleeping. I mean, I'm pretty certain we are. And you'll see what I mean later on, and you'll see why. So, moving along to... This is the part where we could have chose to... what Shannon's going to do. She's going to go on the boat, or she's going to stay to make stew. This one doesn't matter. I clicked just to go help. This time I'll click do the stew. It really doesn't matter what you do. I would not recommend clicking making the stew, because it just takes up more unnecessary time. But if you don't want to do it, especially, and you want to see what it looks like, I'm going to show you right here. And apparently moist is better to say than slimy. Fun fact, if you didn't know that. That's what this game says. I didn't say it. I mean, I said it. Not my opinion, but it's the game's opinion. I think I saw more recordings there, which I didn't get. I went over to the left, clicked on the eye, and now we're going to talk to Shannon. And you can see another recording there, but we just need to talk to Will. And that's it. Then we can do that whole section again, same as before. Nothing's going to change. One thing I should note, though, is when so it's kind of interesting. We're going to see this from a different vantage point. Now we're seeing the audience and not the person doing the music. So she's going to talk about us having a special tape player, and this is where those recordings come into effect. So I'm going to speed this up a lot, but basically for this song, you're choosing to play the recordings that you found. I think you get options like See, there's cat and there's sleeping. Those are the ones I had to get. But you could have gotten those extra ones. And I think there's like, play it backwards, play it softly, play it this, that. So change it up, whatever you want to listen to, whatever you might think is interesting. Doesn't really matter. Nothing will change the story. Except basically it'll just alter your experience. This is it. This is the end of the game besides the other cutscene. This will get you the achievement Act 4 again for completing Act 4 a second time. That being said, good luck. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in Act 5.